I'll be moderating this 20-minute Q&A with John Appel, director of the movie we just saw. For a short introductionary, I'll keep it really short. I'm a reporter for NOS Television. It's the Dutch news broadcaster. And I was in Norway just hours after the explosion. I was on Utøya and I followed the Breivik trial from the beginning to the end. And John, I remember at some point, congratulations with your film to start with.
Thank you.
As a courtesy to our international guest, we'll be hosting this in English, by the way, as you're here, and I would really appreciate it if your questions, which you obviously have, will be in English as well. I'll just be short, and then I'd love this to be an interactive session, so open up the questions to the audience. But first, John, I remember you called me, and you wanted some information about my experiences in Norway, and you said, I have had this scenario lying around for quite some time now, and I was waiting for something to happen, and then it happened.
Yeah, of course it feels very banal, trivial, to wait for something to happen like a disaster, and so I realized when this happened, 22/7, which feels to me like 9/11 in New York, a really big, tragic event. I thought my script, would not fit in this. It's the drama is too big for me to make a film about, about fate, about coincidence and that kind of things.
What was in the script? Because
well, in the script was that when every time something happens, like for example a plane crash or a shooting, some people are, very unlucky, unfortunate to be, in the wrong time, at the wrong place. Maybe they shouldn't have been there, and they just came a little bit late, and they were, had a very bad luck. Other people, they really are, on the other side of the spectrum. They were supposed to be there, and they are not there. They didn't take the train that crashed, and they survived. So how this you can call it fate or coincidence works. I wanted to investigate in an event like this.
So you went to Norway. Was it easy to find people that were willing to talk to you?
In the beginning, and I think that's why it's the moment that I contacted you, since you went there, I think the day after, maybe the day itself.
On the day itself, yeah.
Yes, so you are very quick working for the news. And I think I went there in about 2 weeks after, and still people were very open to talk to me. Although they already talked to many journalists, but they were open to talk, etc. And I could do my research, looking for stories that would fit in my script. And I found the story of the three people hiding in the toilet.
You found that story on the first trip to Norway immediately?
Yes, I met Hakon, and he's, although I filmed him months after, but he still was in a sort of shock telling what happened to him. And of course he told me that he was not there alone, he was there with 2 other people. And so I thought for my script, this meeting of 3 people for the during of the shooting, which is about 1 hour and a half, that would be, a perfect example of how the different lives of people can meet in a very, very special moment, and they have to survive in all the circumstances they are in. And then when it's finished, they split and everybody goes its own way.
Did it help that Hakon was the only, the girl from, one of the girls is living in Norway as well, yes. But the others are not? Yeah. And you just said, and I have had that same experience, that in the beginning people were really willing to actually show the world their strength. That's my opinion of
absolutely.
They didn't want this madman to struck them down any more than they had been struck down already. But Did it change during the process, and did it help that the other people were living in, well, you thought of
Yeah,
Ghana?
no, absolutely. It's really true that it's, and I think everybody who followed the news maybe was amazed by the reaction of the Norwegians on this, brutal attack. That they try to cope with it, they try to go on, etc. But after some time, and that was the starting point of my filming, people got more and more closed. They felt more depressed.
Why was that?
Well, I think in the beginning, you don't realize what happened, and all the attention the people, the journalists from all countries in the world give you, it's a way for them to express what they experienced. When they really start to reflect and to dream and to get nightmares, etc., they really step out of it. And for me, it was very hard to keep my people for my film. The first people I found in my research after 2 weeks, to keep them willing to be part of my film. And as a matter of fact, it's Hakon who, as I told you, he was my first character. He stayed till the end, and I could film him after a few months when he was ready to be filmed.
And he made you a member of the toilet group on Facebook? Or?
Yes, I'm now on Facebook.
The movie is about coincidence, fate, maybe coping with, emotions.
Coping with emotion, with the disaster, with.
Did you feel emotionally attached to the events, and how did it work for you?
Well, I felt all the time, emotionally attached to the people I was filming, and for me that's the first click that should be made. That when I really feel connected to somebody, and he also can be a good part of the story, then he's my man or my girl, you might say. So, for example, Hakon, I felt very touched by Hakon the first moment I met him. But also the Harald, the man who lost his son in base jumping, I only met him a few months after this happened, since he's working at the Ministry of Justice in Norway, and they, for the first few months, it was forbidden for them to talk to any journalist at all. And somehow I managed to have a sort of speed dating with a few of those people. I met him just 15 minutes, and I really felt, attracted to him, in the sense that he's such an emotional man.
You once said you audition people, you audition your characters.
Yes,
so this was
like
an
audition. Yes, and he was my favorite, and so I asked him to have a follow-up of this first 15 minutes meeting, and okay, we made another appointment the same day, and then he told me the story of his son and how the two stories are connected somehow, and for me this was really what my film is about.
The film's not about the political implications of this terror act, and there have been. I mean, it was a terror act, hence it was politically driven by a man who, Breivik, who wanted to blame the government and punish the government for the immigration politics of Norway. He does not, nor his story, nor the coincidences in his life or working up to his act, play a role in the film.
Yeah, that's really on purpose, since I felt, if I would make this film political and I really would investigate in his motives and his what ever happened to him in his past, why he in the end did what he did.
There must have been some coincidences and fate-related questions.
Probably, I don't know, but I think it would be. I didn't think it would be okay for the people that are in my film, the characters that really are victimized by him, to include him as well in the film. I think that would be insulting for those people. And when I thought about making this film, I always thought about an event like a plane crash or something that had not somebody who planned it, that it really was an accident. And although I know it's very tragic, I took it as an accident for the film.
You took it as an accident.
Yes.
What do you mean by that?
I meant that I didn't want to invest in the motives of the killer himself.
Right.
So I don't mention his name. I don't pay attention to him totally. He's just ignored in the film and only mentioned by the policeman
or by the shiver of the father that sees him in
yes,
court.
okay,
Yes.
and that's why, you know, since he wanted to go to Oslo to the court case and he wanted to see him. That's what he wanted to do, since he doesn't believe in all the fairy tales of his wife.
Mhm.
He doesn't believe in fairy tales, he believes in reality, and so he wanted to see the killer, and that's why he went to Oslo. I went with him, and just to witness how he looked into the eyes of the man who killed his daughter.
Questions from the audience. We have somebody, his name is Tom, he has a microphone, and he will...
Okay, I can just tell that in the audience there is a small group, delegation of Georgia. They see the film for the first time. They are not the characters in the film, they are not the parents of Tamta, but they help me being my, production assistant, interpreter, etc. So I welcome, by the way, the Georgian delegation.
Welcome, Georgia. Are there any questions from the audience for John Appel? Not everybody at the same time. We only have one microphone. Yes, there's a girl sitting over there.
Ik vroeg me af
Could
of
you please do
jezelf...
it in English so everybody can understand you?
I'm
Thanks.
sorry. I was wondering if you yourself believe strongly in fate, or on the one side, or coincidence in the other, and if maybe after the film or after meeting the characters, and that might have changed.
No, what I believe in is that life, let's say, is full of coincidences, and I don't mean it in a very religious way that everything is, made by Allah, as some of the characters is telling. But I think that you can never expect really. You should be open for the unexpected in life. So you can plan, but sometimes suddenly something happens that you didn't plan, and maybe this is the best thing that could happen to you. Like you meet your lover. It can also be a fatal or bad luck. But I believe that in your life this will happen, and since I believe in this, also in making films, I believe that you don't have to plan everything before. You can start shooting a film, looking for people in Norway and finding people in Georgia. And that's
Looking for people in Uganda and finding them
in
Goes,
Uganda,
of
finding
all
them
places.
in the Netherlands. That's part of my philosophy, that you should be open for the unexpected.
So was that part of your film script?
Yeah, it is part of the film script to be open. And in the film script, I did not have characters. I did not have any concrete drama. It still had to happen. I only told that whenever it happens, I'm looking for people that some of them I will meet just directly, since they are clear, victims or survivors of what happened. But other people I will meet on the way, and also the fact that you might even find things that you didn't look for, which is called serendipity, if you know this word.
For example, is there something you can...
Yes, there's an example in the end of the film. The base jumper, who really by coincidence did not go to work in Oslo, but he went base jumping in the mountains, and he realized afterwards that by doing this he escaped his tragic fate, probably, maybe, that he could have been killed that day. I didn't know this story, and I just got to know the story when I was looking for base jump footage to put in the film. And I found it on the internet, and I addressed this man, and he told me, "Do you know what happened to me?" And this is what happened. So this is called serendipity.
And is it something that in the production process you also speak to with your crew? For instance, that you try to translate this concept of serendipity or fate into the way the movie is actually made or filmed or edited?
No, edited, no, because editing is really constructing all these pieces together to make it into one story. In filming, yes, I include my crew and the researchers in how can we find, if we don't find it, how can we find a solution to maybe to find another character, or sometimes we shoot one character and we meet a second one and we really think this is a better one, this is better than the one we planned, so maybe we should also include the second character. And I also had this experience in this film, although they didn't make it into the editing, so it's I cannot prove it, but still it happens. This is also the let's say the coincidental part of the filmmaking itself.
Any more questions?
Can I
Yeah.
add something?
Sure.
I was wondering, how did you do it financially? Because you have to do like sort of two stages. First you make, it's like first film plan.
Yeah.
Then I think you get some money, and then you have to start actually again, because then, toch?
Yeah, toch.
How did you do it? Because it's very difficult time, for filmmakers to.
Now it's very difficult.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, okay, maybe.
Okay, then it's 1 year back. No, I'm joking. No, it's of course it's very difficult. Financially we did not get the budget for a subject that was not yet clear. So we got financially in the beginning. I mean, a budget to start the first research for this. So I went to Norway and made a script, a real script based on what we found, including Hakon, including the toilet group, etc. And then we could get the money, the full budget to make this film.
There's lots of discussion now about the media funds. You were doing like this, Tom?
Please, one question we have time for.
Oh, then I will not ask any more questions. One other question from the audience. Come on, guys. There. Or girls.
Girls.
A lot of girls.
Oh, girls.
Very good.
I was wondering because I've seen some of your documentaries and starting Under Hazes, and I think 2 years ago The Player, which was also connected to you personally, and now you're more going outwards. Is that also serendipity, or you're just trying to look more outwards?
Yeah, you already answered to your question. No, I try to keep developing and to not to stick to one specific way of filmmaking. I try to develop, and The Player was 3 years back. It's a very personal film. It's also a very constructed film, but already it was based on my personal memories. And for this film, I wanted to make a film that already had a theme, but it didn't have any subject. So it's another step in my career, I might say. And so next step will be, I don't know, but I try to make new steps all the time.
Yes, this one worked out pretty well. You're 25 years in your career.
Yeah.
The IDFA is 25 years old. It's your second film here. Is it
No,
a
it's not
coincidence?
second
Opening film. I'm
film,
sorry,
yes.
guys. I knew this. It's 10. So
That's
is there
good, that's good.
is there a coincidence? 25 years in the business, 25 years.
Yeah, of course, yes. Since when I
It's fate.
when I left film school, I didn't invent IDFA. It's just happened.
It
No,
just happened.
I know that when I left film school in 1988, I went to IDFA as the first real film festival in a very small area, not so big as it is now, and I felt as a beginning filmmaker that to be have a film at IDFA, even when it was that small, it would be a miracle, I thought, and so it took some years to have a film at IDFA.
And many miracles happened. Thank you very much. Thank you for your film. Thank you for this.